The 2018 XXL Freshman Cyphers wrapped up a few weeks ago, and I wanted to do this video to rank some of the worst to best ciphers that XXL has put out by year. So from 2011 and onward, let's start off with the worst XXL cipher, and that year was 2015. One group consisted of Kid, K-Camp, Tink, and Rari. Nothing really special here. Tink had the best verse, but it's not something you want to go back and listen to. The second cipher had Go, Link, OG, Mako, and Vince Staples. Go, Link, and Vince, I like them as artists, but if it wasn't for that, like when this cipher came out in 2015, I didn't pay no mind to it. It was decent, but I feel like it was in the middle of the pack for 2015. And the best cipher was the cipher with Dejlo, Fetty Wap, and Shy Glizzy. It wasn't really rapping per se, but Dejlo got the melodies, Fetty Wap got the Fetty Wap had a unique sound to him. It kind of sucks to see him fall off like that, but he didn't really evolve with his music. It all kind of stayed stagnant and was just repetitive, essentially. Song after song, it kind of sounded all the same. Next is 2017. 2017 wasn't a great year for the XXL ciphers. It had some pretty weird pairings. I mean, the worst cipher, in my opinion, in 2017 was the PNB Rock, Cap G, and Kamaya. Kamaya sat there for like a full 20 minutes. The second group was Made in Tokyo, Playboy Cardi, Ugly God, and XXX Tentacion. Rest in peace to X, but this cipher, even Ugly God said it himself on Academic Stream one time. His group was freestyling, it wasn't anything written. That's cool to see, you know, freestyles, real freestyles, nothing written, but it just didn't come off that great. The vibe was there in the beginning, but when X came on, kind of took a turn. It's legendary in its own right, but it's not something that I would want to go back and listen to rather than for nostalgic sake. It's kind of depressing, you know, looking back at this one. But the best XXL 2017 cipher, in my opinion, was Kyle, A Boogie, and Amine. A Boogie and Amine both had written verses. They made songs with that verse. And I don't know what Kyle was doing. He was being an action superhero, but that beat, it just, I don't know, it didn't fit. It didn't fit the verses. A Boogie saved the cipher for me once he starts going into that singing, rapping mode. I don't know what you want to call that, but that's kind of like A Boogie's thing. You know, all of his songs have something similar along those lines. Moving on, let's talk about 2012. 2012 only had two ciphers. The worst out of the two was the one with Kid Ink, Macklemore, Don Trip, and Iggy. Man, when Iggy came on rapping, like, I could see why people clown her and don't accept her in like the rap scene, because if that's like one of the first times you hear Iggy, it's awful. Nothing really memorable in this cipher, but the reason why I have it above two other years is because the next cipher with Hobson, Roscoe Dash, Machine Gun Kelly, Future, and Danny Brown kind of saved it. I go back to listen to it from time to time, but this year, 2012, the beats they had were 100 times better, or at least the rappers they had on the list and then the beat selection they had complemented those artists more than 2017's. Hobson started off strong in this one. Roscoe Dash followed his verse up great. Machine Gun Kelly and Danny Brown did their thing. Every artist on this list had solid verses. Future, he was just happy to be there. Next is the 2011 ciphers. The one with YG, Mac Miller, Diggy, and Lil Twist wasn't anything special. They had Diggy Simmons and Lil Twist on this one. They're like 16 years old. They were on it only simply for the fact of namesake, you know. Lil Twist was signed with Young Money. Was any rap fan actually listening to Lil Twist and Diggy Simmons in 2011? I don't think so. The best cipher of the two in 2011, the one with Yellow Wolf, Kendrick Lamar, Lil B, and Shy High the Prince. Just like 2012's, one cipher was way stronger than the other. This cipher's kind of legendary simply for the fact that Kendrick and Lil B are on the same song. To dumb that down, in 2018, that's essentially having whoever's the most lyrical rapper out and having Lil Pump on the same song. That's how legendary that is. Bass God, a pioneer in the rap music scene. If it wasn't for him, there wouldn't be a lot of these new rappers. So thank you, Bass God, for saving the 2011 ciphers. Next, I have the 2018 ciphers. This is as high as I could put them. They just came out a few weeks ago. but they're already some of my favorite ciphers that XXL has put out. The one I vibed with the least was the Lil Pump, Smoke Perp, Block Boy JB one. It's not the music I listen to, but I can respect it for what it is. It was hyped up, the energy was there. I love on the ciphers when the background artists are like doing some ad-libs or what have you. I feel like that's a nice little touch. The next cipher was JID and Ski Master Slump God. If you follow me on Twitter, I voiced concerns of JID's music. I haven't heard a great song that I absolutely loved by him. Seems like a cool dude, but his rapping voice is so annoying to me. Kind of a mixture between Anderson .Paak and Kendrick Lamar, and I don't think personally he should be sounding like that. You know, he talks normal. This is one of the artists, I could go on a whole tangent here, and I might do it in a future video, but I enjoyed JID's verse on this one way better than Ski Master Slump God. Absolutely murdered Ski. And surprisingly, my favorite cipher of 2018 was YBN Envyerz, Stefflon Don, and Wi-Fi's Funeral. And I think the reason why I enjoyed this cipher the most in 2018 was for Stefflon Don, because in 2017 Kamaya was the female artist not a lot of people knew about, but in 2018 Stefflon Don absolutely destroyed this cipher. She was the best artist on it, and coming from someone who doesn't really know who she is, I was really shocked what she was able to do. We in the top 3 now, and at 3 we have the 2014 ciphers. Before making this idea, I always thought to myself 2014 was by far my favorite year for the cover, for the ciphers, until I started thinking about it more and I realized it's good, but it's not as good as I always thought it was. The first group was Lil Durk, Rich Homie Quan, and Ty Dolla $ign. That was kind of more of a hype cipher. Ty Dolla $ign was freestyling, he didn't really care. The middle of the pack group for me was the second one with Troy Ave, and the best cipher of the 3 was the Chance the Rapper, Isaiah Rashad, August Alsina, Kevin Gates, and Vic Mensa cipher. I'm looking at the video right now, and they left Vic Mensa's name off the title. That's so disrespectful. This was prime Vic Mensa back in the day, you know, before the whole sell my soul, paint my fingernails, wear eyeliner Vic Mensa, who's fake beefing with people. But the artists complemented each other so well, and Chance was kind of like the superstar of the group and the cover, really, when you look at it. It's one of my favorite ciphers by XXL. Let's talk about the 2013 cipher. I was kind of contemplating whether or not to put 2014 above 2013, but when looking at the 3 ciphers as a whole, all of them were all around better than 2014. While 2014 had that one great cipher, I felt like overall the presentation and performances were better. Surprisingly, the cipher I was least interested in was the Absol, Action Bronson, Joey Bad, and Travis Scott before all the auto-tune. I like these artists, I just felt like the beat didn't fit them. Around this time, I was a huge fan of Joey and Logic, so it was awesome to see 2 of my favorite artists be on the same cover, and unfortunately not be on the same cipher. It might have piqued my interest more if they were both in the same cipher, but the middle of the pack cipher for me was surprisingly the Schoolboy Q, Trinidad James, and Kirko Bangs. Trinidad James and Kirko Bangs not really relevant today. Schoolboy Q doing his thing, but this beat fit those artists more. It was more enjoyable to listen to because of it. And my favorite cipher of 2013 was the Logic, Dizzy Wright, and Angel Hayes. A lot of these artists not really relevant anymore. That's kind of sad. By far my favorite cipher of 2013, which leads us into the best cipher that XXL has put out, and that year is 2016. Probably a controversial pick by me. There's a lot of people who hate this year because they see who's on it. They see the names, they see the personalities, and they just don't like it. They think this was the downfall of XXL, and this is kind of like the downfall of the rap music industry. We'll talk more about that when I do a cover video of XXL, but this is strictly ciphers. My least likable cipher of this, or the weakest rather, they're all enjoyable to listen to and go back to, was the Anderson .Paak, Designer, and Lil Dicky cipher. Felt like an odd pairing, but it somehow ended up working. The next cipher was a lyrical masterpiece for all the old heads, Dave East and G Herbo. Those 2 guys were just rapping. The most popular cipher of XXL's history, and my favorite cipher, Kodak, 21 Savage, Lil Uzi, Lil Yachty, and Denzel Curry. This is kind of how I wish all ciphers would be. The energy was great. the ad-libs, you know, the little things like that made the song. Kodak's famous line of trashing the DJ. A lot of these artists are a big mainstay in hip-hop today. Love them or hate them, they're doing their thing. So that's my list of worst to best years for XXL Cyphers. Let me know yours in the comment section below. Leave a like on this video if you did enjoy, and check out some of these other videos on screen similar to this one. The next XXL video I'll be doing is covers. So if you want to see that, let me know in the comment section and I'll get that out as soon as possible.